Alrighty, good afternoon. I hope you're all having an awesome day. I am on my way home and you'll be shocked to hear that I'm stuck in a little bit of traffic. Oh well, it is what it is. Not a big deal. In all honesty, it gives me an opportunity to kind of talk to the camera, and if the content turns out to be relatively decent, throw it up on YouTube and hopefully you guys find it useful. So that's where we're at. So it's not all bad, and it gives me a chance to talk things through my own thoughts and then articulate them in a way, shape or form that then hopefully becomes beneficial, not only for me because I then understand what it is that I'm doing, but also then for all of you watching the content. So that's what's up. I was thinking about this today for a minute or so, and I've got good experience in this, hence why I'm going to actually talk about it. But when you stare at yourself in the mirror, that guy looking back at you or the girl looking back at you, are you proud? Do you respect that person? Because the reality is, if you're not proud and you don't respect that person, there is zero fucking chance that anyone else will be proud or respect you. So if you are in a position now where you're looking at yourself, you stand in front of the mirror and you're like, oof, not a fan of who's looking back at me, well, you got some work to do, because reality is, if you don't respect them, they don't respect you. And if you don't respect yourself, no one can respect you, because you have to have something about you in order for people to respect you in the first place. So that's where I'm headed with this today. And it starts with physical. It's always physical. And everyone's like, oh, it's not always about how you look. It's 100% about how you look. We are pre-programmed to judge based on looks. It's throughout history. I mean, if something looked fierce and dangerous, we immediately get scared about it. We're wary about it because it's our fight or flight keeping us safe. If we didn't give a fuck about things that looked dangerous, we would walk into a fucking lion's den and we'd end up dead. So of course we're programmed to look for the dangerous stuff. We're programmed to judge things, to judge a book by its cover, in a long story short. So if we're pre-programmed to do that, you can say, oh, it's not always about the looks and blah blah blah, but it is. So we need to take that into consideration. So if you're staring at yourself in the mirror and the person looking back at you looks out of shape, miserable, depressed, anxious, sad, whatever it is that they are doing that you are not happy with, that's what you're putting out into the universe. So now all of a sudden, if you're anticipating people to respect you but you don't respect yourself, you got another thing coming. No one's going to respect you if you can't respect yourself. No one's going to be proud of you and all that stuff. I've kind of said this already. So how do I know this? Well, I've been there. I've done that. I got the t-shirt. I was 260, 280 pounds, whatever it was. It was a fuck ton. It was way more than I should have ever been. And I was miserable. Didn't like where I was at. I didn't like what I was about. I didn't like the man looking back at me. So much so that I was never in any kind of photos or anything like that, because I just didn't want to be seen. I needed to be invisible as much as possible. So when you're in that space and you're trying to hide all the time, you're hiding from the world. The world doesn't see you. You're invisible because you are making yourself so. I had no respect for myself, and as a result, I would, like I said in a few other videos, I would work relentlessly because that was an escape from the real world, or that was an escape from my reality. And then I would get home and I would play on a computer. I play computer games until stupid o'clock in the morning. Then I would go and I would crash in bed and I would sleep for a couple hours, or maybe 3 or 4 hours, whatever it was. And then I would do this whole thing all over again, where I would then wake up, go to work, escape my reality for hours on end at work, then drive home and escape reality for hours on end on the computer, just to repeat it. And then I would actually dread the weekends, because the weekends I didn't have work to hide behind, so then I had to find other ways of hiding. So it was more gaming, more I'm an emotional eater, so there was a lot more emotional eating, which then just made it so much worse, because then I probably was 240 pounds, then it was 260 pounds, 280 pounds, you know what I mean? So it was this slippery slope. But eventually at some point you draw a line in the sand and you're like, hey man, this is some bullshit. I don't like who I am or what I'm about. And would the person that I was 20 years ago, or would the question I asked myself was, would the 13-year-old me be proud of who I am today? because I heard someone say that on a podcast, and I was like, fuck, that hit me deep, because I was like, damn it, man. No, 13-year-old Byron would be disgusted. He'd be disappointed. He had big dreams, big goals. Yeah, you're making money. Who cares? You're a piece of shit. It's like, you're lazy. You hide. You don't want to have honest, open feedback conversations. You're just on this fucking path, and you're just like free flowing. You're a dead fish. You're just going with the flow, and trying not to be anything. You're trying to be invisible the entire time. So, like I said, I've been there, I've done that. I got the t-shirt. I know what that's all about. It's not fun. So we've tapped into that pain point. We know that sucks. And if you're there, then just know that it doesn't have to always be this way. We can do something about it. And it starts with drawing a line in the sand, making a conscious decision. Hey, I'm tired of fucking doing this shit. I'm tired of being this person. Something's got to change. And that something starts with the physical. It starts with getting your body moving. And you can argue with me till you're blue in the face. I'm going to stand by this, because the person that's standing in the mirror, if they're not in shape, it's like, of course you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be proud of who you are. You're not going to respect yourself. If you're this lump of lard, how could you possibly respect yourself? How could you possibly love yourself? Because you know you're not living to your fullest potential. You know you're not doing what needs to be required to look after yourself. It's just a fact. So these people that will tell you like, oh, you just, it starts with loving yourself and you just love yourself. Well, you have to earn the right to love yourself. You have to earn the right to respect yourself. And that comes from doing the fucking work. That comes from putting in the blood, the sweat, the tears, the discomfort, and becoming a version of yourself that you can one day stand and look in the mirror and be proud of. I don't know if that day ever truly comes, because like, I think once you're on that journey, yeah, you're proud of who you are, but you always see room for improvement. And I personally think that's a good thing. Like, I'm never ever going to stand and look and go, oh yeah, I've made it. Like, I always think there's room for more. There's Bedros talks about being blissfully dissatisfied. And I'm a firm believer in exactly that. It's that you can be in a state of bliss right now, but know that this is not the finish line. There's still more that you can do. There's more you can give. There's more you can be, etc. So we go down that path and we consistently adapt and evolve, and we keep moving the needle every single fucking day. We turn up, we bleed, we sweat, we cry, we do whatever needs to be done in order to be a better version today than I was the day before. But it starts with the physical. It starts with moving your body. If you're in a shitty state physically, there's a very, very, very high probability that you're in a shitty space mentally as well, because you're not moving, so you're not getting the endorphins, you're not triggering your hormones the way that you should and stuff. People weren't created to sit on their ass and do fuck all the time and be a piece of shit. We were created to conquer, to do cool fucking stuff. So the moment we go against the reason that we were created, we cause problems for ourselves. We cause this internal battle with ourselves that ends up with, and I think, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me on this. I don't know if this is fact, but I've drawn the dots in my own head and I believe this. So it is, to me, perception is reality. Therefore, this perception that I have is my reality. And it's that if we are not here moving, doing stuff to better ourselves, that is a cause for being anxious, depressed, etc. Because you have this internal battle with yourself where you're like, I know I'm meant to be more, I know I'm meant to do more, but I'm sitting here on my ass doing fuck all. And that's where like I said at the beginning of this, I've been there, I've done that, I've got the t-shirt, I'm talking from experience here. So I know when I was my most miserable, I was the most overweight I've ever been. I was like 30-something% body fat. It was disgusting. I didn't like who I was. I didn't like looking at myself. I didn't respect myself. I didn't respect other people. And in return, no one else respected me. No one else liked me, etc. Because I wasn't a nice person to be around. And it started with me not giving a fuck about my external appearance. So, start with getting the body moving. I'm not saying you have to be a fucking Adonis and all of a sudden have six-pack abs 24/7, 365. That's not what we're saying. But we are saying get active, get moving, get your body in a state of some kind of readiness, right? Where if the shit hit the fan and you had to run, are you going to snap a fucking Achilles heel because you haven't run, or Achilles tendon, sorry, not Achilles heel, Achilles tendon, because you haven't actually had to do anything faster than a slow walk to the fridge for so fucking long? Or are you in a position where if you had to take off at a moment's notice, you could do so and not end up fucking wrecking yourself? If there was a wall and you had to, and your family was in danger on the other side of that wall, could you scale a wall to protect your family? Could you do something about saving your family if you needed to scale a wall, or run around a building, or run up fucking 12 flights of stairs? How many of you would actually have to end up watching your family die, or watching the shit hit the fan because you're not in a place to do anything about it because you're not there physically? And like I said, it doesn't have to be six-pack abs and a fucking straight Adonis shit. You don't have to be a demigod, but at least be in a position where if the shit hit the fan, you could pick up your kid in one arm and pick up your other kid in the other arm and carry them up fucking 12 flights of stairs if you had to. And yes, you can argue, oh, well, the adrenaline will kick in. Yeah, and then what? Like, yeah, adrenaline's an amazing thing. It's a powerful drug. But are you going to rely on adrenaline, or are you going to be in a position where you could do it even if there was no adrenaline flowing? What if your adrenal glands are fatigued and you don't fire off adrenaline like you should because you have done fuck all for so long that your hormones are so out of whack that you can't do anything? So the point is, if you're looking in the mirror and you don't respect the person looking back at you, now is the time to do something about it. Because if you don't, nothing's going to change for you. You're going to be the same animal that you are now for the rest of the time. You're going to be disappointed. You're going to not respect yourself. You're going to be miserable, depressed, anxious, and you're going to have this constant internal battle with yourself where you're like, I know I could be more, I know I should be more, but I'm not doing anything about it. I'm a piece of shit. And you have this fucking spiraling internal dialogue. And the tricky thing is, and the funny thing is you overcomplicate simple shit at that point, where you're like, well, like, because I did this again, 200 and something, whatever pounds it was. I was like, well, I'm so fucking fat now, like, no one can help me. And it's like, really? Really? Is that what we're going for? We're going to play that victim card? We're going to have that victim mindset? Or are we going to own the fact that we could do some cool shit here, and we only have to take it one day at a time? I didn't go, oh, I need to lose 80 pounds. I said I need to lose 1 pound, and then 2 pounds, and then 3 pounds, and then 4 pounds. So every time I lost a pound, I just was, okay, this is awesome, I need to lose another pound. This is awesome, I need to lose another pound. And then all of a sudden, I'd lost 30 or 40 pounds, and I'm like, okay, now I need to lose pounds and get stronger. And it was like, I couldn't do any pull-ups. So I was like, shit, okay. So we started with band-assisted pull-ups. And all of a sudden, I could do band-assisted pull-ups. And then it was, okay, cool, now can I do pull-ups without the band? Fuck no, shit. Okay, back to band-assisted pull-ups. Pull-up, 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 pull-up. All of a sudden, I'm doing a pull-up without a band. Fucking huge win. Celebrate that shit. That's gangster stuff. You just lifted your entire fucking body. That's awesome. Congratulations. Now let's do it multiple times. But it didn't start with me going, I'm going to do a pull-up, and if I can't, I'm a piece of shit. Fuck this fitness game's not for me. It started with, I'm going to lose a pound, and then another pound, and another pound, and another pound. And then it was, okay, cool, I've lost some pounds, now let's get strong. And it starts with squatting the bar, bench pressing the bar, band-assisted pull-ups, deadlifts with a fucking bar. Whatever it takes, whatever you need to do. But it's putting your ego to one side. Take that victim card that you've all been fucking playing with for so long, put that thing through a shredder, then pour a bunch of gasoline on that shredder, set that motherfucker on fire, and be done with it. Never ever take that card out ever again. Don't even recognize that card is a thing. Because the moment you play that victim card, you have an excuse. You have a reason to be a piece of shit. You have a reason to be a lazy motherfucker. And then every single time you use it, it gets easier and easier and easier and easier to use it. The same as like what I said the other day when I said the more often you do hard shit gets easier and you get new levels of hard. So things that used to be hard for me back in the day are now just regular day-to-day shit. Waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You think the first time I did that was easy? Fuck no. That shit whooped my ass so bad. The first 2 weeks or so, it was fucking awful. But then you just get conditioned to it. And all of a sudden waking at 3 o'clock in the morning is not hard anymore. It's just it's what I do. It's part of who I am. It's part of my identity. I've done it for so long now, it just happens. Like when I actually do sleep in, like some weekends when I get to sleep in till 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, it's like, it's weird. You wake up and you're like, well, I've just left 3 or 4 hours of potential growth and opportunity. But at the same time, you still need to get your sleep. It's important. So you got to like weigh up the risk versus reward and the cost analysis and all that stuff. But my point is this: don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't try and become an Adonis overnight. But if you're looking in the mirror and you don't respect the motherfucker that's there, know that no one else does either. And that's the reality of life, because it is what it is. We are genetically fucking predispositioned, whatever you want to use that word, to judge the book by its cover, because that's how we know whether we're in danger or whether we're safe. So if I look at someone and straight away I have zero respect for them, or if I look at myself, and I have no respect for myself, how can I possibly expect anyone else to respect me? It doesn't happen. So I need to do whatever I need to do to be the guy that I know that I need to be in order to command the respect that I want out of this game called life. Once I've done that, and I live that shit, not just talk it, not just like blah, 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 I'm gonna this, that, and the other. Fuck you. Live that shit every single day for more than fucking 5 days. Like, live that shit, become a role model to what it is that you're talking about. Now all of a sudden you're in a different position and people will respect you because you respect yourself. And you're not a hypocrite to yourself where you're like this version of yourself in front of people but then a different version behind closed doors. You got to be that same motherfucker all day, every day, 365, 24/7, etc., etc. Because the moment you're not, there's a little game inside your head that triggers, and it's like, yeah, okay. But we know, as in inside of you, you know that you're a hypocrite, and then there's that erosion of confidence. And then it doesn't matter how much you try and command respect from people, that internal erosion kicks off, and then it escalates to the point where you lose all your own credibility because you don't respect yourself. No one else is going to respect you and all that stuff. So, got a little lengthy, got a little longer than I anticipated, but the reality is it starts with your physical appearance. Look after yourself physically, eat the right shit, stop eating all the processed junk, crappy foods, eat clean, healthy, nutritious, dense foods, or nutrient-dense foods. Move that body. You don't have to become a fucking Mr. Olympia, but you have to move your fucking body. Get those endorphins firing, get those hormones back in balance, and then all of a sudden, like, the whole mental game starts shifting some, because now all of a sudden you've got a good chemical balance on the inside. What you need to realize is we're just a bunch of tubes and fucking wires at the end of the day. And if our tubes and our wires aren't working properly and we're not producing the right testosterone or hormones or whatever, like, we're out of whack. And then all of a sudden that starts fucking with other elements of your life, and it starts bleeding into other areas of your life. Like I said the other day, if you have a shoulder injury, it fucks up all of your training across the board elsewhere. It's the same as if your heart's not functioning properly, the rest of your body's not functioning properly. If your brain's not functioning properly, the rest of your body's struggling. It's all connected. It's all a big ecosystem that needs to be looked after and maintained. It's like buying a fucking McLaren and putting shitty fuel in it and expecting it to run like a supercar. Yeah, sure, it might do for a period of time, but if you don't maintain that vehicle and put the right sort of fucking fuel in it and give it the loving that it needs, eventually it's going to be a piece of shit, just like every other car on the road. So it's important. Look after this rig. You only have one, and the moment this thing lets you down and it breaks down and it gets to a point where it's unrepairable, that's it. It's over for you. It's done. So look after this rig. Make sure that it's in a condition that is something that can handle situations. If your family needed you to do something physical, if you needed to scale a fucking wall, can you do it? If not, fix that shit. It's not hard. Start by losing a pound, and then another pound, and then gaining strength, and another bit of strength, and a bit of this, and a bit of that. And if you need help with any of that shit, comment below. Reach out to me. My Instagram handle's at Byron Ovenstone. Reach out to me on Instagram. Reach out to me on Facebook. Message me in the comments below here. It's what we do. We help people get to this point. So, rip up that victim card. Stop playing the poor me situation. Get your ass into shape. Get that rig fucking working for you. And then all of a sudden it'll start helping your brain work for you. And you'll see this drastic change in this game called life because you have a completely different mindset and you got a rig that can actually fucking do shit for you. And then a whole different ball game. Shit gets real interesting from there. So, thank you for listening to me talk today. I am truly grateful for the fact that you turned up and that you give my content the love and watch it and all that stuff. I really do appreciate that. So thank you. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And yeah, like I said, follow me on Instagram. Just got fucking wrecked. Thank you, Yukon. Absolute dickhead. So follow me on Instagram at Byron Ovenstone. Follow me on Facebook or friend me on Facebook, whatever. I don't really do much of the Facebook game, to be fair. It's mostly Instagram. So Instagram is the best place to find me. But if you have questions or comments, comment below. And yeah, thanks again for tuning in. I'm truly grateful, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers for now.